Sorry, I was just sitting here sort of like meditating and chilling out, and then I realized that we're together and it's time for some yoga with the story. How's it going? I'm Leanne. Hope you're great today. So glad that we are together because we're going to have a lot of fun. So come on down to the ground and let's get started. So today's yoga story is, it's a back to school themed yoga story because where I live, some of the kids in the neighborhood where I live are going back to school, and my partner is also a teacher. You might know Dragon or Miss Cookie, and so it's back to school time for her too. So the story is dedicated to all the kids going back to school and the teachers too. So before we start with our story, we're going to warm up a little bit, get ourselves ready, get our minds and our hearts and our bodies ready. One of the great things about yoga is it's not just about the physical body, but it's also how you feel matters and who you are, your spirit. That all is welcome here on our yoga mat. So show up here. Every part of you is welcome exactly as you are, nothing to change. I'm sitting here in my crisscross yoga sauce. You can do that with me. Or if you'd like to choose half lotus or full lotus, you can do that too. Just always be mindful of how it feels in your body. Yoga is not about how it looks. It's about how it feels and how you feel. So feel great, whatever pose you're in. I'll try half lotus. So I'm going to begin today just by rolling my shoulders back, warming up the shoulders, and rolling our head around a few times, just warming up the neck, looking up, do some nice circles. Start with some big ones and then switch directions in your neck as you breathe and stretch. And back to the shoulder rolls, back and forth a few times, just feeling into that. And then put one arm over and give yourself a nice side body stretch over and change directions. Side body stretch over and look up and change directions. How about two more, one on each side as you breathe and stretch and welcome yourself and welcome this moment. And just bring your hands onto your knees, sit up tall. And maybe just say thank you to yourself. Say, hey, good job, me. I showed up for some yoga. And that's such a healthy and important thing to do. So thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for that. All right, here we go. Let's begin our story. Today's yoga story is about a girl named Sally who's going back to school, maybe just like you. Let's start off in our boat pose. So the reason why we're going to start off in boat pose is because Sally loves summertime and she loves being by the lake. So one leg at a time, lifting it up, and we're going to practice here being in boat pose. You can be in a boat with one leg down if that feels better, or you can find out how that feels. But I'm going to try boat pose up here, balancing, breathing, and telling you a little bit about Sally. So she loved the lake. She loved rowing her boat and checking out all the beautiful things. So they could peek down and look and imagine all the things Sally would see in the lake and breathe. And switch sides other side, take a look down, maybe you see some fish or some frogs or some fauna. And then bring your arms up and look up at the sky. Whoa, keep balancing, keep breathing. Boat pose is very strengthening, so you can do it. Look up there, look at the clouds slowly passing by, and then come back into your crisscross yoga sauce. So Sally loved summertime, she loved the water, she loved being in her boat. Come on to your hands and knees. And she also loved everything about nature. So we're going to lift up our knees here in our bear pose. One day, lifting up your knees, she even saw a bear in the woods. She thought that nature was so cool. Hold it here in your bear pose and count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and lower it down. She loved all of the leaves and the grass and the grasshoppers and the butterflies. Everything about the natural world for Sally was so cool. She's like, why do I need to go to school? I can just be out here in the forest and learn everything there is to know. Well, her parents didn't agree, and it was time for school. So let's stand up for Sally's first day of school and make our way there together, slowly coming all the way back up. All right, my yoga friends, when you go up to standing, let's do some shoulder rolls here. Roll your shoulders back and forward a few times. And then we're going to put our hands on our waist, and we're just going to look behind us, do a little bit of a twist as we stand here in our yoga pose, which you can call mountain pose, the standing pose. And just take a few breaths and imagine Sally's first day of school. So she's got her backpack on, so backpack on her back. She's got her back to school shoes on. She's all set. So here we are. Shrug your shoulders up, breathe up, and relax your shoulders down. Let's do that a few more times. This is a great pose to do if it was your first day of school. You can do this shrug and release pose. Because when you release, you feel your body settling in, even if you're a little bit nervous or a little bit unsure of your first day. That could be a good thing to do. Well, Sally was really feeling it. It was her first day. She was definitely feeling nervous. So let's make our way to school. We're going to take our opposite hand and our opposite foot, and we're going to just tap it a few times. You can go as fast or as slow as you like here. Faster, faster, or slow, if that's how you're feeling. She was kind of in between. And as she was walking down a path with many trees, and so as was the custom for Sally, she loved nature, so she stopped and she admired nature, and she said to the trees, "Hey trees, it's my first day of school. It's been a long summer and I'm really sad to be going back to school." So come into your tree pose. Or remember, to be a tree here in our yoga, we don't have to always have our leg up here. It can be way down here if that feels good, all the way on the floor as a little kickstand, or above or below your knee. Find the tree that feels like the most authentic version of who you are today. Not my tree. This is my body, and I'll do things the way it feels good in my body, but I invite you to try that for yourself. So here we are in our tree pose, and imagine that you are the tree that Sally is talking to. So really, really open up your chest. Be a proud, beautiful tree, and encourage Sally. That's what the tree did. The tree said, "Sally, it's going to be okay. It's your first day of school." Bring your hands to your heart. But we're going to invite you to take a look up at us when you're in school and see if you can hear the message that the trees have to share with you. If you listen very quietly, you might be surprised. Well, this put Sally in quite a good mood, and she jogged the rest of the way to school. So now we're going to jog it, knees up, all the way to school, backpack, everything you need, keep breathing, faster, faster. She made her way all the way into her school before any of the students were there. She's like, "Oh, school, buildings, desks, chairs. This isn't nature." She was feeling discouraged. Let's turn ourselves now into what might be like if we were a yoga pose and we were a building. We need to see if we can find a structure shape that's kind of rigid. So open up your arms and open up your legs, and maybe we can imagine this might be the door. So we're going to open up this leg, and we're just going to angle ourselves down. Maybe you're the walls, the door, all the parts of the building that Sally was not very encouraged for. Lift your arm up on the top arm, really reach it up, and lower that bottom arm. You might stay right here. This feels like a better door or building for you. Wherever you are, don't forget to do the most important part of yoga, and that's breathing. On the breath out, we're going to come back up and give the other leg a try. So point that forward toe away. Really reach your arms, really reach your head up to the sky. Breathe in. And let's explore what it's like to be the other side of the building, maybe another door in the building, and see how it feels on this side. But for Sally, the building was really, really hard. Didn't make her feel safe or happy. Come back up and hop your feet together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So that was the building. And then of course there were chairs and tables. So let's come into chair pose now. This is Sally's chair at her desk. Just coming into the chair and come back up, just warming up the chair pose, coming into the chair. All the students would soon come in and sit in their chairs in the classroom. Hold it here in your chair pose. Reach your arms up, breathe, look up. Try to smile because yoga is fun. And then on the count of 3, we're going to release our chair pose, but hold it here, sitting into your hips, into your heels. Nice lowered hips. 1, 2, 3, and release. Forward bend. Let's come onto our hands and knees to be the table or the desk. Now whenever you get there, spread your fingers wide. You want to be a nice strong desk. Open up your knees so that your knees are right underneath your hips. And see if you can make your back flat as though you'd be a surface that would be okay for writing on. So Sally came into her school feeling a little bit nervous, as you know, really uncertain about all of the things, and she found a tree out the window and she stared at it and she listened and she waited and she breathed. And sure enough, it didn't take long before one of the trees sent her a message. It was a beautiful, tall, coniferous tree. Let's stand up and try tree pose on the other leg. Find your balance on this side. It might feel different in your body. You can choose where to place that leg. But if you're a coniferous tree, do your best to make your arms into a pointy top, just like the tree in the story. Now that coniferous tree had something to say to Sally, and it surprised her, but it filled her with inspiration. The tree said, "Sally, I know you are not feeling very excited for school today, but I need you to know that school is such an important part of your life. It will make you more wise, it will make you have friends, and without school, your life will have less meaning. So school gives life meaning, just like trees and nature." Sally had never thought about that before. Take a deep breath in, and when you breathe out, you can release your tree pose. And Sally was filled with inspiration. She spent the rest of the day really doing her best and trying to find all the ways that school could give her life more meaning. At the end of the day, she ran to the trees, the ones who gave her the advice. Let's run all the way back to that tree, to that little forest that she passed on the way in, and she thanked the trees for telling her to listen out for their wisdom. Every day of school, Sally got really wonderful advice from the trees. She was quiet and listening. The second day of school was special because the tree gave her the advice to have recess with some of the new kids in school who are from a different country. This made Sally feel like a superhero, to be a helper. So we're going to come into some warrior poses to feel into how Sally felt when she got to help others at school. Starting off with your hands just here on your hips. This one is a very powerful pose. We call this Superman pose, or Superwoman, or Supergirl. So you can be a super person or super being of your choice right now. Hands on your hips, breathe in, puff up your chest. Feel proud, just like Sally, for being a helper. Now let's experiment with some warrior poses. Spread your legs apart, put one leg, one toe forward, just like we did when we started off being the building. And we're going to do some warrior poses. So warrior 2 is bending your front knee and really bending into it and breathing into it. Very powerful pose also. Here in our warrior 2, breathe in, let's become a peaceful warrior. Breathe out, gentle warrior, and reach. 2 more like that. Imagine how it felt to learn that school was a place where you got wisdom and meaning and friendships, and you could help people and they could help you. All right, let's try it on the other side. Just move your toes, be a warrior here. Bend into it. Really bend. Breathe, arms. Really bend into it as much as it feels good in your body. Breathe. And come into your peaceful warrior. Look up, watch your fingers, and then just scoop it out as you reach and push it away. Let's do that a few more times. Breathe. Look and lower and reach. And one more time. Beautiful. Deep breath in. And especially long breath out. Excellent. All right, coming back to the center. We're going to put our hands on our hips and hop our feet together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, hop. Come into your chair. Hold it here. Breathe. Imagining your nice, comfortable chair at school. All of that learning, all of those books, all of those friends, and all of those ways of making life more meaningful. Come back out of that chair pose into a forward bend and roll it all the way back up. Keep your knees soft. Roll your shoulders. Bring your arms up for one final closing yoga breath together. Long breath out. All right, you've got this, my friends. Here's to a wonderful back to school. Stay strong, keep your heart open, keep doing your yoga, and keep on learning and making connections, because that's what makes life so much better and more meaningful. I believe in you. Here's to the best back to school ever. Let's go. Superheroes. You and me and all the teachers and students together. Back to school, c'est la rentrée. Woo! School is cool. Everybody back to school. On the first day of school, you might be scared, you might be sad or mad. But when you get in and see all your friends, you'll remember why you're glad that you're back to school. Come on, sing it. C'est la rentrée. School is cool. Everybody back to school. Again, back to school. Woo! C'est la rentrée. Sing it with me, let me hear you. School is cool. Everybody back to school. Here we go. Everybody back, everybody back, everybody back to school. Woo! We can do this.